Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas Gk. Viewers, this is beyond imagination. The Congress government in Himachal Pradesh has decided to levy taxes on the Aam Aadmi based on the number of toilet seats that a person has in the household. This order was issued on the 21st of September and apparently was taken back by the administration on the same day. However, the issue has snowballed into a massive political controversy. The BJP is calling it toilet tax and has branded it a desperate measure by the Himachal government facing financial woes that continue to mount. The BJP is now training its guns at the Congress government, drawing a parallel that on the one hand, the Prime Minister was building toilets under the Swachh Bharat mission, whereas the Congress government is taxing people for using toilets. Listen in to the scathing attacks.
सुखू जी को देखो, उसने टॉयलेट पर भी टैक्स लगा दिया। अब इसको क्या कहे? मति भ्रष्ट बोले, क्या बोले? बुद्धि भ्रष्ट बोले, क्या बोले? इस सरकार की मति भ्रष्ट हो गई, बुद्धि भ्रष्ट हो गई।
25 रुपए लिए जाएंगे हर टॉयलेट सीट पे। अब आप मुझे ये बताइए, जब आप कहते हैं खटाखट खटाखट खटाखट, तो जनता कह रही है ये 25 रुपए टॉयलेट सीट पे क्यों ले रहे हो? हमने क्या पाप किया? क्या गलती है हमारी?
देश भर में मोदी सरकार ने 12 करोड़ शौचालय बनाए। ये सुखू सरकार का सुख देखो, आपके घर में सीट कितनी है उस पर भी टैक्स लगाने का काम कर दिया टॉयलेट पे।
On the other hand, the Himachal Chief Minister Sukhu has denied baseless charges by the BJP and says that only water tax was imposed by his government. But contradictory to the Chief Minister's statement, the additional Chief Secretary of the Jal Shakti Department has said that the order issued on September 21st was withdrawn on the very same day. Listen in to these versions.
जो बीजेपी ने चुनावों से पहले 5,000 करोड़ की रेवड़ियां बांटी थी हिमाचल प्रदेश में, उसमें जो पानी का मीटर था उसको फ्री कर दिया था कि हम पानी का कोई बिल नहीं लेंगे। हमने 100 रुपया पर हेड पर फैमिली पानी का बिल लेने की बात की है। और ये टॉयलेट टैक्स कोई ऐसा टैक्स नहीं है, इसको राजनीतिक लाभ के लिए नहीं उठाना चाहिए। उन चीज़ों को समझना चाहिए और पहले उनको पढ़ना चाहिए कि क्या चीज़ है।
पर सीट का मतलब ये हुआ कि जो टॉयलेट आपने बताया तो कितनी बार दिन में फ्लश होगा, उसके हिसाब से 25 रुपए कैश किया गया। माननीय डिप्टी सीएम को वेटिंग के लिए गई तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये देखने में कुछ अबसर्ड लगता है, तो उसी दिन जो है उस जो 25 रुपए का पर टॉयलेट का जो हमने सीवरेज चार्ज लगाया था उसको जो विड्रॉ कर दिया गया।
And before we open this up for debate, let me take you through Himachal's debt position even as we speak. Now, this is as far as the total expenditures are concerned at 58,443 crores. Receipts, however, are far less at 56,439 crores. This is as far as the 2024-25 budget estimates are concerned. The fiscal deficit at 10,783 crores. The revenue deficit at 4,513 crores. But what's been the position historically? Let's show you the next set of graphics which will show you how the debt has been mounting over the years. In 2020-2021, it was at 60,993 crores. In 21-22, it mounts to 63,736 crores. In 22-23, it's at 76,651 crores. In 2023-24, it's at 87,788 crores. This is how the debt has been rising over the years. Let's also take you through the debt to GDP or the GSDP ratio. This was at 37% in financial year 22, increases to 40% in financial year 23. In FY24, it's at 42%, and FY25, it is at 43%. And this is, of course, what is estimated given that the financial year has not been completed. So this is where the debt, not just in actual terms, but also in terms of percentage of the state GDP ratio, has been rising over the past several years. And that's why there are serious questions as to whether the Sukhu government is now looking very desperately at revenue streams, which has led to this controversy in the first place.
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guests now. Joining us, we have Tuin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP. Sujata Pandey is a political analyst joining us. Kapil Madan, advocate, is joining us on the show, as well as Jim Savi Abraham, political analyst. But my first question is to Ashutosh Mishra, senior journalist. Ashutosh Mishra, the question that many are asking on the basis, of course, what you would have seen what Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said. She has said and contrasted what's happening in Himachal Pradesh, where people are being taxed on the basis of the number of toilets they have, to the Modi government's actions during Swachh Bharat, where fresh sanitation facilities were provided to the citizens without the citizens having to directly pay for them. How do you respond to that, Ashutosh?
Nirmala Sitharaman has become a victim of what Amit Shah had boasted in 2018 when he was the BJP president. That BJP is capable of making viral even lies. And this is one extreme example of that. The Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh has already issued a denial. You have spoken about the denial by the Additional Chief Secretary. So this all seems a case of BJP being desperate and trying to sort of...
You're partially correct, Mr. Ashutosh. It's a denial by CM, but it is an admission of reversal by the Additional Chief Secretary. So on that note, I'd like to correct you.
Yeah, and what did the Additional Chief Secretary say? That when it was sent to the Deputy Chief Minister, he said it's not right. So what needs to be probed is the political leaning of the Babu who sent the proposal up and then leaked it. So, and it's been taken back like on 21st of September. So talking about it now, BJP obviously has its eye on Haryana election and where it's losing, and then trying to create this unnecessary controversy. I mean, Nirmala Sitharaman doesn't care about onion prices, but she's worried about toilet tax, so-called toilet tax. It's an interesting thing that's happening. And you have to remember, even when the tax was proposed, at that time the tax was proposed as a water charge on hotels and other such institutions which were drawing water.
We'll get into the target areas and all of that in just a bit. But you made a number of comments, Ashutosh. I want to bring in Tuin Sinha on that. Tuin Sinha, number of points being made here. A, that the factual position is not what's being taken up by the BJP, and also the question of whether this is being timed along with the Haryana elections that are, of course, taking place in the neighbouring state of Himachal.
Well, good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everybody. A very happy Navratri to everybody. You know, the toilet tax fiasco is merely the outward symptom of a larger malaise which affects all Congress governments today. And that malaise is fiscal profligacy. It is fiscal anarchy, which has become synonymous with all state governments. As of today, in the current financial year, Himachal's debt stands at roughly 87,000 crore, which is likely to go up to 1 lakh crore in the next financial year. The per capita debt is the second highest in the country. You know, this year in the budget, they reduced the spending on urban development by 32%, on agriculture by 9%, on social development by 15%, and on water supply by 13%. In Telangana, in merely the last 3 days, the government of Telangana has incurred a debt of 72,500 crores, and the average per day debt of the last 300 days of the Telangana government stands at 241 crore. And in Karnataka, we are aware of how the Karnataka government embezzled 14,000 crores from funds meant exclusively for SC/ST welfare to fulfill the fake promises of the Congress party. So I think this Congress party needs to introspect. You know, over-promising and under-delivering has become the hallmark of this Congress party. They are fly-by-night operators, and today in every state of the country, people have become skeptical of the fake promises being made by the Congress party.
All right, I'd like to bring in Kapil Madan on that note. Kapil Madan, promises being made in state after state, fiscal profligacy, huge amount of scams, etc. that are being reported from states where Congress and other opposition parties are in power, is the charge coming in from the BJP spokesperson. Please respond to him. Please unmute yourself and speak, Kapil. Kapil, please unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry. So Madhav, I will just, say here that the BJP is trying to make a controversy out of a non-issue. And let me give you a plausible reason why I say so. I challenge my good friend Tuhi Suna, who is an extremely learned man, that he shows one person who has received this tax. I challenge him. He will not show because there is no tax that has been charged to the government. On the other hand, I will now show the hypocrisy and the irony of this entire debate. Everyone, including you, me, go check your bills. You get Swachh Bharat cess imposed of the services that you take. That's 0.5%. Where does that tax go? The tax goes to the Consolidated Fund of India. If you ask for details, then just like a PM Care Fund, you will not get details because they say, they will not release that information, how they are spending those funds. And let me also give some numbers which are hard to, you can do a fact check with me. In 2015, 2016, there was a sum of 3,900 crores that was taken as a Swachh Bharat tax. In 17-18, 12,000, 3,300 crores were taken as a Swachh Bharat tax. 2018, 4,200 crores. 2019, 22, 4,600 crores. Are we not paying for that Swachh Bharat tax? Where is that amount being spent? I mean, this entire debate, I would just say that, it shows how bankrupt BJP is as far as the issues on which they should be, talking about elections and the issue that really matter to the people. It exposes their own agenda. If that was being so true, then why are they, collecting this Swachh Bharat tax from everyone, including you, me? Go check your bills. You will find it everywhere.
Do you want to respond to that? Okay, got your point. Do you want to respond to that?
I'm quite amused by the innocence of my friend Kapil, because I think he's distracted by the Navratri celebrations. 12 crore new toilets were constructed. The sanitation cover of this country went up in a span of 8 years, in a span of 9 years, from 39% to 100%. That is what the Swachh Bharat cess was. But over here, to fulfill the fake promises of the Congress party, there is a pattern evident in all the three state governments of the Congress, where in one state you pluck out funds meant for SC/ST welfare, in other you are contemplating allowing poppy cultivation in large chunks of land. So I think the two issues are completely different. I think, Kapil is normally very, very much on the mark, but today he seems to be slightly distracted.
Yeah, Kapil, not just are you distracted with, the Dussehra celebrations, the Navratri celebrations, so on and so forth, but here's a few facts that, can't be denied. The state GSDP to debt ratio has been soaring over the past 4 years. It's gone up from 37% in FY22 to about 42% in FY24. And these are facts. It's not just that in real or actual terms the debt is increasing, but as a proportion to GSDP, which reduces the ability to repay those loans.
Thank you. Yes, so Madhav, what is our national fiscal deficit? How much loan the central government has? If you check, there is a data on record available that says from 50 lakhs crore has gone.
Kapil, is it going up or coming down? Please tell me.
Lakhs crores. So what about that?
Is the national fiscal deficit coming up or going down? Tell me. No, I'm asking you, year on year, is it coming up or going down? Kapil, of course it exists. Let me answer my question. Over here it is steadily going up.
What is the national debt? What is the national debt?
No, my simple question is if there is a pattern of growth or decline.
Madhav, please allow.
No, you're not answering the simple question. I'm placing facts before you, Kapil. Is there growth or decline? Fair enough, compared to the center. No one's running away from that.
So I am saying, if you compare in 2014, that was about 50 lakhs crores. Now it is about 250 lakhs crores. You please fact check me on this, whether I am saying whether this amount has gone up or it has gone down.
So it went up during COVID. We all know that it went up during COVID, and it has been declining year after year. Is that not a fact?
So what was okay? No, so then you please say what was the debt in 2019? What was that? Did that increase or it was that decrease? You please confirm that.
No, did it increase or decrease? You tell us. You debate with Tuhin Sinha. The point I'm asking you a simple question. There is a trend of increase over the past 4 years here, and you're comparing it to the central fiscal deficit, and I'm telling you there's a decrease. That's far as my knowledge is. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, Madhav,
this is not a quiz contest. It's a debate.
No, yes, it's a debate. That's the reason why I'm saying if you draw the same parallel, if you draw the same yardstick, the central government has failed miserably insofar as the debt is concerned. Overall debt is concerned. And the fact is, we're talking about a sewage tax, which has not been imposed by the Himachal Pradesh government because there is no bill. I am, on the contrary, asking everyone here, you please go check your credit card statements. You please check the services that you take. In every service.
Okay, now we're going back to the same point, but since you made an allegation on the central government, Tuhin, quick response to him. He says that the center has also mishandled the debt. 1 second.
Now tell me something.
Yeah, for me, everything is an allegation until someone is able to challenge it. Yes, or prove it.
No. First of all, the economic performance of a state or a country is measured as a ratio, as a debt to GDP ratio. And I can assure you that India is at much safer levels vis-a-vis both US and Japan. Last year it was something, our debt to GDP ratio was in the range of 80%. For both US and Japan, it was way above 100%. But more importantly, I think it is unfair to compare the state with the country, if at all. You must compare Himachal with Maharashtra. If at all, you must compare it with the BJP-ruled states, which are leading the semiconductor revolution in the country. Maharashtra is at #1 when it comes to investments, with 53% of the investments in the Q1, first quarter of 2025-26, 24-25 coming to Maharashtra, which includes 12,000 crore, 76,000 crore Badhavan port, 10,000 crore steel plant in the heart of Gadchiroli, infested with Naxals. So I think, there is no comparison between a state and the country. You compare Maharashtra with the Congress-ruled states. You compare Assam with Congress-ruled states.
Okay, let me bring in Jimsa Ibrahim now. Jimsa Ibrahim, the contention of Tuhin Sinha is compare Himachal with other BJP-ruled states, and then we look at the performance. But the question over here is also this. Before the elections, when the Congress went into the election, they promised free water meters and a subsidy of 100 rupees per family for this. Now, in this U-turn, there appears to be this notification which is imposing tax for actually using water and sewage systems, etc., at this particular rate of 25 rupees per seat per house per month.
All right. Thank you, Madhav, for having me, and a very happy Navratri to all. That being said, let me quote Nirmala Sitaraman. Unbelievable if true. Right? This is exactly what our central cabinet minister had to say in this regard today. What really happened? What was the real proposal by the Jal Shakti board from Himachal Pradesh? One was new fixed rate for the rural connections, and two was rate based on consumption for the urban areas. These were two proposals, also along with another proposal which, according to what we understand, was not signed by the elected cabinet of Himachal Pradesh. So let's not tarnish the image of an elected government in Himachal. Let them do their job. This was a proposal that was made around 15 days ago. I would concur with my fellow panelists that we are actually debating a non-issue here. Unbelievable if true. Likewise is the fact that we have a rapist who is out on bail in Haryana the day before the election. Isn't that unbelievable but true? Isn't it also unbelievable that true that BJP government in Himachal Pradesh had levied 200 rupees of water tax with an additional 10% increase, which was abolished by the Congress government, by the Sukhu government? Is it also not unbelievable but true? We're actually debating a non-issue here. The bottom line is there is no toilet tax, especially not in Himachal Pradesh. This is nothing but indicative of the political bankruptcy of the BJP in the country. Let me also add, it's a futile attempt to actually have a comparison between the state of Maharashtra, which has always led in terms of industrial indices, with a state like Himachal Pradesh that is a hilly region. Let's compare indices of Haryana with that of Himachal Pradesh.
Okay.
I think that would be a much more fairer comparison here.
Okay. I'm not getting into the comparisons right away, but since you've raised a serious question on the previous BJP government, Sujata Pandey respond to Mr. Abraham, who says that it was the previous BJP government in Himachal who imposed a water tax of 200 rupees, which has perhaps been reduced to 100 by this government. Please respond to him.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. This is what happens when the freebie SHIT shit gets real. Because, if you see here the fellow panelist contradicted itself, saying that the previous government has levied this much tax at the state for debt ridden, and this is how the debt has risen. No, that's not the cause.
The language you're using is my only request.
Yeah. So if you see the white paper, it said the white paper, presented by the government itself says that the debt has risen. The per capita debt has also risen. It has risen by almost doubled, and it is all because of the mindless freebies promised by the Congress government. And this is not just happening in Himachal, Madhav. This is also happening in Karnataka, where they are also rolling back the freebies. If it was non-issue, then why did they roll it back? On the first thing. The second thing is whether the government rolled it, government put it there or not. That's the issue. The issue is that if the Jal Shakti board, which comes under the government, works under the ministry, has put in this notification. This shows a policy bankruptcy of the Congress government, because who in their right frame of mind would put a tax on the toilet seat? India, where the open defecation was such a big issue, where the Pradhan Mantri, toilet scheme was such a big hit, people realized that this is one issue that India, after 75 years of independence, also the women had to go out for open defecation. We had to build toilets, and Congress, don't forget, the Congress party mocked it कि क्या बनाया, टॉयलेट बनाया, हमने तो क्या बनाया, हमने तो IIT बनाया, IIM बनाया, ये टॉयलेट बना रहे हैं, and now they are taxing the toilet seat. My just simple question is Congress party supporting open defecation? Is it, this is how any government will try and curb any initiative. They put tax on it. It's a simple economics. And then to counter Kapil and the other fellow panelists who were supporting the Congress, well, let's look at the financials of the Himachal Pradesh government. Look at their own statement. Is it not true that the Sukhu government said that they will have to cut trees of the Himachal Pradesh if the central government doesn't help them? Is it not true that the central government pays for the salary of the Himachal Pradesh? Is it not true that they promised OPS and now the people are not getting even their salaries? The retired people are getting their pension on the 10th of every month. The 50% rollback on the fares, the free fare which was promised by the government by Himachal. So it's just you can say that this is just whataboutery or this is non-issue. It may not be non-issue for you because you are sitting in the AC house and you don't have.
Let me bring in Ashutosh on that, because there are a number of issues. There are a number of issues linked to this high debt and poor fiscal performance. She's referred to some of them. I'm going to refer to some more, Ashutosh. Minister's salaries deferred for 2 months. Payment of salaries of employees missed out on the first of the month. Pension fund, as she mentioned, no subsidies on electricity, unfulfilled. And government has rolled back its decision on supplying 125 units of free electricity. Now, these are quite a few policies on which the government appears to be on the back foot, and it is funding that is one of the key issues here.
So, you see, by the very fact that the BJP supporters are trying to shift the goalpost from toilet tax to how much the state government owes, shows that they are following what Narendra Modi said. झूठ बोलो, बार बार झूठ बोलो, जितना हो सके उतना झूठ बोलो, जब हो सके तब झूठ बोलो. Now here it has been proved quite clearly that the tax was never levied. It was proposed by Babus, and as I said earlier also, this Babus political leanings should be checked. Are they? We have seen under the UPA government that there were many government servants who had leanings towards the right, and some of them later even became ministers in the Modi government. So here the talk about, and then they talk about open defecation being finished in India. I just was watching Kaun Banega Crorepati, which I think many of our viewers should be watching. There was a young man from one of the double engine Sarkar states, and he won 12,50,000 rupees. Amitabh Bachchan asked him, what will you do with him? He said, I will build toilets in the village so that the women folk don't have to go to the fee for that.
Okay.
So all this is happening only on paper as usual in Modi government.
Okay.
And even
Respond to that, Sujata, that this is happening only on paper, number one. And number two, Sukhvinder Sukhu has earlier blamed the centre for not releasing the GST compensation from June 2022. He's pointed out for this being the primary reason for the state's financial crisis, as this has been reported, and its annual revenue had a shortage of 2,500 to 3,000 crores. The borrowing limit also being reduced. How do you respond to all of this, Sujata? Very quickly, please.
Madhav, first of all, they say the toilets has been built only on paper. A prime example of how the Congress and their ecosystem is disconnected from the roots. Because if you go in every village, the toilets is being built. If you have proof of real people speaking that how it has changed their life. This is the prime example of the NC ecosystem. The systems which goes to toilet perhaps in the president house.
Right.
They think that the poor people do not deserve a toilet, and when someone builds it after.
Well, the only thing that we can say as far as the toilet tax is concerned, that governance appears to be going down the drain, and that appears to be the only pattern that we can see, at least from what's emerging in Himachal Pradesh. We'll leave it there. Tuhin Sira, Sujata Pandey, Kapil Madan, Jimsa V. Abraham and Ashutosh Mishra. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening.